Hi, this is Christy with Creations by Christy, and I've had some requests in the past for everybody to be able to see inside of my family tree books that I have created. I've been working super hard on my family tree, and it is two of these giant binders. Here's book one, and then there's book two, and they are packed full of information. So let me show you a little bit of what I've done. These are just really big 3-ring binders. I just put some scrapbook paper on the inside of the clear pouch, and then just did book one, book two. And so inside of here, let me set this so you can kind of see. First page, I put this wonderful poem. It says, "Days fly by quickly and children move on. Before we know it, the old times are gone. But as we look back at generations gone by, we reflect on the memories that serve as a tie, binding us together with future and past, and building a story that forever will last." I just found that poem a long time ago, and I just love it. Really, to me, says everything that a family tree is. And so I just typed it up and put it in here with some scrap paper around. Here's just some extra pages that I'm still working on. These are copies of my grandfather's like his journal from his work as it went through the Depression, and he'd like journal in there how he was feeling and stuff, and his amounts that he had, and it just means a lot, and you can see how things progress. But I haven't finished those, so those aren't in the book yet. So as I started, I put down, this is like the Waltz family arms, like their coat of arms and stuff, and what our family name means. And I found this online years ago. I've been working on my family tree for many, many years, and I found this years ago. I don't know where, couldn't tell you. So, but I have that in here. And then each arm of the tree, or however you want to call it, what I did was I put the family tree and did it on pullouts. That way it's a little bit easier than having the whole tree in there. And so like this is one branch, and then I have all of the censuses, and I would highlight it out and then also make a little synopsis of what it said. And I would include in here what year it was. So this says, okay, so like this one is the 1930 census. Jacob and Catherine own their house on Mercer Street, valued at X amount of dollars. Jacob was, and I put down how old they were when they got married, where they came from, and also what they did for a living. All that information you get from the census. And so rather than somebody trying to make out this tiny little writing, I did all the work for them. So somebody flipping through here can get that information real easy just by reading this little note that I put in here. Also, I have like the manifest from passenger ships, and so I put down he was 18 when he came over, what ship it was, what he was doing at the time, any information that I could get off of the things. I put a picture of the ship, all the information of the ship, things like that. I tried to go above and beyond. So when you're going through the book, you can kind of put yourself in there and get the picture. a lot of family trees can become just names and dates and faceless people, and it really, you don't get the sense of who they are. And I really like this to be more of a, you know, a family. And I really got to, you know a lot of people that I had never met and fell in love with them. So here's a great one. This, I put a couple little key in a lock, and the hearts and wings. This was on their wedding day. And then here's, you know, these beautiful girls. And I'm not going to go page by page because we'll be here all day. This, I put their, this was their citizenship. So anything that I had, I would either, you know, shrink down or do whatever. This one I printed out on canvas and then, you know, frayed the edges to make it look like it was an old photo. I never used the original photos in these because those belong to, you know, other people. I made copies, and that way I didn't have to worry about ruining them. I could crop them, I could enlarge them, do whatever I wanted. So here's another census, and I was able to follow a lot of these people all the way through to current day. So here's some beautiful hats and stuff, and just really neat. I put death certificates, birth certificates, anything I could get my hands on. Here's some newspaper articles. That was great. Doing newspaper articles. There's another branch of the tree, and I put pictures of any of the family members that I had pictures of. So here's another newspaper article. Wedding invitations. I also, instead of having the big, large wedding invitation, I would take the wedding invitation, shrink it down so it's still legible. You can still read it. But this is their actual wedding invitation, not this size. But they would recognize it when they see it. And it just means so much for you to be able to see, oh my gosh, that is my, I mean, how often do people look at their wedding invitations? But to be able to see a picture of their wedding and their invitation is just so neat. I found out in going through my family tree, I'm not the only photography buff. There was quite a few. And here's one that some of his photos were turned into postcards. And there's a newspaper article about that. So here's another branch of the tree. So in the branches, a lot of them, they were like these brothers, you know. And I just kind of branched out from there. There's still a lot of holes in the trees that I don't have pictures. I requested pictures and any information that I could find. And each page may be different, but it's still, this is my grandmother. This is one of my favorite pages. I have this on my blog. I just thought she was so gorgeous and so just one of my favorite people in the whole world. And these are her twin sisters. So just so neat. I added stories and just, you know, the neatest things, you know. So this one, Rose, she owned a bakery shop. So I lined all the pictures in this little, these crumb things. So it kind of reminded me of like chocolate cake. And picture of the bakery. Nobody knew where the bakery was exactly located. I hunted it down and I got the address. So it's been quite the project and just have absolutely loved it. So newspaper articles, again, these are when my grandfather came over. I took his, you know, the papers, from when he, you know, came to the States and shrank them down. These were just huge. And shrank them down. Here's my grandfather's father, so my great-grandfather. registration cards from the war. Here's my grandfather. So I went through the older family. I went as far back as I could, and then moved forward. And then this is my grandfather's sister. And now we're becoming more current. So then book 2 is, and these 2 books are just my mom's side. I also have a book that's for my dad's side. So then this book is my grandmother and grandfather, and then current. From that point and then to the current day. So then this is from their marriage to currently. So then their children, my grandfather's shop, just little great things that, you know, the, what is this called? The big, that big fish with the, what the heck is it called? The marlin. My grandfather caught a marlin. And my grandfather and grandmother's cars, oh my gosh, they kept track. My grandfather loved making lists, and he wrote down every car that he ever owned, and every car my grandmother owned. And I've got pictures of his cars. I've got his driver's license. I mean, everything. And so it's just so neat to have that information and to have that, you know, there. And like I shrunk down the list. It's so just neat. I've learned so much about my family. Here's my uncle, love him. You know, I love everybody in my family, but you know, I mean, there's just, everybody has become so much more special because I now know their stories, and they're, you know, it's just very neat. Here's another wedding invitation. Another wedding invitation here. And I kind of tied the backgrounds to, and then I also included picture of the families. So like this is their wedding, and then a picture of their family. For the more current pages, like here's, you know, the wedding and then their family. So it's just so neat to see, you know, how everybody is grown, and anybody that also, they served in the military, anybody in the military holds a special place in my heart. A lot of you know I do Operation Right Home cards, and so, and anybody that has, they have an extra page, and just for their military time. And so there's, I don't know if you saw it in the other book, there's some of my uncles and my grandfather's brother and stuff like that. So here's my mom and dad, gorgeous little bride, and here's our family. There's a really goofy picture of me, like when I was really young. And here's our little plan. And that's it. So there's your little peek inside my family tree book. I hope this helps you kind of get an idea of how I have it organized. And I just did these little tabs. So if I'm looking for family real easy, you know, like real quick, I can just go straight to, you know, which family I'm looking for. And then on this one, you know, same thing. I just have the family tabs. And I just stuck it right on there. So I can just go right to it. So I hope this helped you, and enjoy and have a great day.